we're talking about he just playing the chords and the copyright claiming him. That is like absolutely and completely and totally against copyright law, but it doesn't matter because the government's not involved. The
Yeah.
accuser is the judge. The accuser is the judge and jury, and they get to freaking decide, and there's really nothing you can do other than sue them.
Can I come over to your house, take a plane to Portland, and just grab some money out of your wallet? And go buy
I'll
myself
buy you a
some
beer.
dinner.
I mean, if you
I
come
mean,
to
that's
visit,
cool.
I'll buy
But
you
can
dinner.
I just come over and take money out of your wallet and then go buy myself dinner?
Where are you going with this, brother?
Yes.
Hello, and we are live and welcoming today Alwyn from Kilo Metro 1 to the sound live. Hello, Alwyn. Why don't you tell me what you guys have been up to over at Kilo Metro 1?
Yes, thanks, Matt, for having me this time in your program. Yes, well, about our KM1 project, I just need to say that we are recording our fourth album studio, and we have recorded 7 songs. So we hope to finish to record everything until February 2022, and obviously our album will be released, I hope, between March or April 2022. So yeah, this is our fourth rock album. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's really cool, man. And we
thanks.
talked briefly just a minute ago about your Highland song. I said that of all the songs on your last album, that was the one that I really liked the most. And I liked the vibe of that. And you said you guys collaborated with some people using some authentic instruments. Why don't you just talk a little bit about that?
I was thinking if I was writing a lyric about Scotland, I thought that the most impressive thing is to invite some music from Scotland. And I signed up in some groups of Facebook with musicians from Scotland, and I asked them if they want to join us, and they say yes, for sure. So we had the collaboration of 3 guitar players, and one bagpiper. So that's really amazing just to have the real sound of the bagpipes, the native musician from Scotland making guitar solos for our song called Highlands, because this is about the story of Scotland. Right. So for our fourth album, we are expecting to invite people from Asia, Japan, and Egypt.
Neat. That's really, really cool. Hey, man, if you need a little bit of saxophone, you can get a little bit of Portland in there, too.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Matt. I know I can count on you. Yes.
Right on. And also today with me, I have Kyle Walz. Kyle's a singer and songwriter. You've been doing some performing recently. Why don't you tell me what you're up to?
Yeah. So yesterday I got to play on a live stream out of New York. So in Upper Manhattan, one of the closest bookstores to the Bronx. And I actually got to play there in person a couple years ago. And when I was there, they said that all the bookstores in the Bronx have closed. And so anybody in the Bronx that doesn't want to go to the library or something needs to come there. And it's cool because it's a community run kind of art space. So it's like all the people living around contribute to rent, give time to work there, and you can, go there and buy books, or you can bring books and things there and negotiate, some sort of trades and stuff. It's called Word Up. So that was a lot of fun yesterday. There were people from all over the globe, maybe about a dozen of us that played some songs. That was really cool.
Nice. And this guy's got over 2 million subscribers. So I subscribe to him. And I don't always agree with everything he says because he's a little bit more old school than me. He's got it on point in this rant here. And so,
okay, but I'm going to say this. First minute or so, he's talking about his own things. So anyway, well, I'm curious to see because I told you earlier that I saw this, but didn't get a chance to watch it. This is one I was going to check out this just to see, because I probably have a whole different take on this than you guys do.
Well, yeah, it's cool. It's cool, and
Oh yeah,
we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play about 10 minutes or so. Without further ado, you guys mute up, and Musicians Panel reacts to Rick Beato, music teacher on YouTube. I finally claimed fair use on a video. Rejected rant excerpt. Okay, here we go.
If you look at this, it's got 514,000. I just took the screenshot views. And you can see on the whiteboard behind me that I have music theory. I'm talking about this Radiohead song called Just, which is one of a number of songs I was talking about related to how melodies and chord changes work together. I was talking about the lack of complexity in contemporary songs, which causes all these copyright disputes, like with the new Jonas Brothers song that I said that people had said it sounded like 5 different songs. Okay, somebody's actually done a mashup on Facebook that one of my friends sent me that has 7 songs mashup with the Jonas Brothers. Okay, so I start demonstrating different songs' chord progressions. I played, let me put me back on here, turn this off. I played obviously Just by Radiohead, that's off the Bends. I played Fantasy by Earth, Wind and Fire. I played Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. Keep the Door Open by Bruno Mars. Angie by the Rolling Stones. I'm demonstrating chords with high complexity chord progressions. And then Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, which is actually by Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and a third writer, Jane. I should have. Well, I'll look it up actually. I'm sure you guys can look it up. Writer from the '60s that they borrowed the something from. Okay, but she's listed on the credits. So immediately after the live stream, I got this. Let's see here. This is a video dispute here. It says copyright summary and status. Says content manually identified by the claimant. If you look under the video, it says that. So that means somebody at Warner Chappell Publishing claimed this. I said, what song is it? Because it doesn't, it says, there it is. Babe, I'm going to leave you, video songs master. Here's what was claimed. So now I'm going to play this again. It's going to demonetize this video. But it's important to do this. Okay, select action. You can trim out the section, all this kind of stuff, right? It says revenue sharing. Okay, so, well, you know what? I'm not going to play it. I'll tell you why I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because screw them. So the deal is this, that they demonetized my video for me playing the chords and not singing the melody, not doing a cover of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, nothing like that. Now, I've never claimed fair use, and I get a lot of grief from people about this. Rick, you should claim fair use on these things, okay? So I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna claim fair use. The video was not about Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. It had nothing to do with Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I didn't sing the melody to Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I simply picked through the chords. And that was one of a number of songs that I played the chord progressions to. Now, I'm not saying that songs that have 3 chords can't be great songs. I'm just saying that the reason these copyright things happen is because they keep using the same chord progressions over, and there's only a limited number of notes that work. So if you have a more complicated chord progression, you can write songs that have different kind of melodies because there's going to be some chromatic notes in them. It's just going to happen. Songs like Comfortably Numb, which changes keys, right, in the chorus. Okay, so here's my letter, my dispute that I disputed, and says, this is a music theory video where I'm playing songs to demonstrate harmonic complexity in songwriting. The use of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is one of a number of examples I played on my acoustic guitar to highlight its use of a high complexity chord sequence. This is obviously an example of fair use. I'm not covering the song, but simply playing the chord progression. I have never claimed fair use on any of my 800 plus videos, but this is such an outrageous abuse of the fair use statute, I must draw the line. It is clearly a teaching/opinion video that in no way infringes on the author's rights. Okay? So what they do when you claim fair use is they put the money in escrow. Now, I knew this, I just never do it. They put the money in escrow until the decision's made. This has nothing to do with YouTube. It's between me and Warner Chappell Publishing. They're the ones that actually decide on this. But they are Led Zeppelin's publisher of this song. Okay, so they're deciding for Led Zeppelin. Now, Led Zeppelin doesn't know anything about this unless Jimmy Page watches my channel. Then maybe he would. But he probably wouldn't have even paid attention to my video on boring chord progressions or boring songs. Anyways, so then I got this back from them 2 days later. The following claim in this video, why today's music is so boring, the regression of musical innovation has been disputed. Okay, well, that was my dispute thing. Then I got this. Hi, Rick Beato. After reviewing your dispute, Warner Chappell has decided their copyright claim is still valid. Why today's music is so boring. Okay, so they rejected my claim. So this is ridiculous. Now, the video is obviously not about Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I play the chord progression, picking through A minor, C over G, D9 over F sharp, F major, E7 to demonstrate a high complexity chord progression. The reason that I've not claimed fair use is because this is what's going to happen. I didn't go on Twitter. I didn't say anything. I didn't try and, do anything. I said, okay, let's go by the way that people do this. Okay, let's see what happens. And you know what happened? Somebody in the content ID department at Warner Chappell that manually claimed it said, no, we don't care. Led Zeppelin's going to get the money from your video. When they say it's revenue sharing, they're not, it's never clear because the money from a 500,000 view video is about $500. Okay, that's it. So theoretically, the part of it goes to YouTube, part of it goes to Led Zeppelin or Warner Chappell, Led Zeppelin's publisher, which eventually trickles to Led Zeppelin. Then part of the money goes to the video maker, theoretically. Now, it doesn't show any money as of yet. And that's not the point of this. The point of this is not the money. The point of this is that it's outrageous that Warner Chappell Publishing is nickel and diming a video that's obviously about, that has nothing to do with their song, and they're the only person. Did Soundgarden, did Chris Cornell's people come after me for playing the intro of Black Hole Sun? Did anyone from Earth, Wind, and Fire come after me for using the chord progression of Fantasy? Did the people from Bruno Mars's camp try and demonetize my video for playing Keep the Door Open? Did the Rolling Stones come after me for using the chord progression to Angie? No. Warner Chappell did, because they thought they could get away with it. And you know what? So far, they have gotten away with it. In the past, I've gone to Twitter. I did this with Norwegian Wood. I made a video called the Mixolydian Mode. And I played the chord progression to Norwegian Wood as an example of the use of the Mixolydian Mode, along with other things. I just played the chords, the guitar thing, right? That's it, on acoustic guitar. I didn't sing it, just like I didn't sing Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I never sang the melody of either song. And the Beatles immediately demonetized the video. They did a copyright claim on it. So I went on Twitter and I posted the copyright claim and I made a video. They got about 1 million views or so. And the next day, or it got 500,000 views in one day. And the next day they removed it. I didn't dispute it. I didn't do anything but make a video about it, like I'm making this video today. And they took it away without me disputing it. Because had I disputed it, unfortunately, the publishers don't care, because the only two people that make a decision, well, there's 3 people involved. It's not YouTube. The publisher or whoever owns a sound recording. So it could be Atlantic Records or Jimmy Page or whoever owns a sound recording to Led Zeppelin, for example, or Norwegian Wood. Capitol Records owns a sound recording to Norwegian Wood. Okay, so they own that record. It's on Capitol Records. And their publisher, I forget who was the publishing company. So I'm disputing with them. That happened to be a publishing company dispute again. So either the publisher or the owner of the sound recording, and obviously the owner of the sound recording is not going to dispute it because I'm not playing the sound recording like I do when I do What Makes This Song Great, and the videos get demonetized. Of course they do get demonetized, like they should. Granted, people say I should claim fair use on those videos. When I did, I'm just glad to be able to do it. When I did Comfortably Numb, it got demonetized. It has not gotten blocked. Pink Floyd makes the money from the video. I don't make anything from the video, but that's fine. Because I want to be able to, this is the whole point of this, is to come on here and teach people things about music.
That's as far as we need to go with that. He starts to kind of go back over the same material for the most part. All the really important details are there. So, dude, we're talking about he's just playing the chords and the copyright claiming him. That is like absolutely and completely and totally against copyright law, but it doesn't matter because the government's not involved. Yeah. The accuser is the judge. The accuser is the judge and jury, and they get to freaking decide, and there's really nothing you can do other than sue them.
Can I come over to your house, take a plane to Portland, and just grab some money out of your wallet? And go buy
I'll
myself
buy you a
some
beer.
dinner.
I mean, if you come to
that's
visit,
cool,
I'll buy you dinner.
Can I just come over and take money out of your wallet and then go buy myself dinner?
Where are you going with this, brother?
Okay, Beato, and it seems like his rant is more his shtick than teaching. If you look at his video, like this particular stream, he has like an automatic little post in the chat about what he has on sale. Mm-hmm. On the video in question, he has, and during the chat of this live stream where he's teaching, people are paying him. He has a Patreon that he gets paid from. Now that's where it starts to cross a different line. And this is something like my background in teaching, whenever I put, a book on a copier, make a copy for my students, that's technically breaking copyright. Now, of course, we could argue some fair use and stuff, but where that's a little different is it's a private audience. And that's why restaurants and things, if you're playing music venues, they have to pay licensing fees to share stuff with the public. The songs that we played on here today, we just gave a free copy of that to anybody in the world that wants to listen to it, as long as they have the means. That's a little different than if we're sitting in a basement sharing a recording and we're sitting on the couch together having a chat. You know what I'm saying? And that's where fair use gets a little confused whenever you have a platform like YouTube. Everyone wants to blame YouTube and say, well, YouTube is doing this or that. YouTube is stuck in the middle. And that's why I brought up the thing, well, can I just come over and grab money out of your wallet? Because if you own something, you don't want someone coming over and grabbing it to use as they wish, because it's not theirs. Yeah, they can ask permission. And maybe if I said to you, hey, Matthew, can I borrow some money? Like you said, well, I'll buy you a beer. Well, that's cool. But what if I just came over and took it and didn't ask? And that's, even though that's not a perfect metaphor, that's as close as we can get. If we're taking like that Tones and I song, we took their song and we gave it to everybody that's listening.
Well, if you're against what Rick Beato's doing, then you're against what we're doing on the sound.
Well, I'm not saying I'm against it. I don't have as big a problem with people claiming it, though.
Okay, but
I get why they're claiming it.
The reason why I played the video, it's the distinction, crossing the line between Rick Beato. On one hand, he could be playing the sound recording like he does on his show, What Makes This Song Great. And he says, take the money. I'm playing your recording. I expect you to claim it. I expect you to take the revenue from this video. I'm teaching people about what I think makes this song great. And that's what he does. And it is, of course, he plugs his Beato book and everything. But
that's where
there's a lot of good content, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of good content. I watched the Comfortably Numb one. He's like saying the chord changes out loud while they're happening. He like plays like the orchestration that the orchestra did play without the rest of the band, so you could hear what it sounded like. Like he really put a lot of work into this.
So he can sell things.
Sure.
And that's where it's different.
Okay, now there's a cover, right? You do a cover, and then they can, if they want, they can take all the money and demonetize you, or they could offer you revenue sharing. Okay, then there's just playing the chords to a song. Just the chords. You're not singing the song. You're not giving the melody, not the lyrics. You're not playing the even specific picking of the notes of the guitar. You're just freaking strumming the guitar to the chords, and they're giving you a copyright claim? Like they own those chords? Screw that. That's what I'm bringing up.
I get you. That particular song, Babe, I'm going to leave you, though. The way it's arpeggiated, almost in the same way as House of the Rising Sun. I could play an A minor chord, and you probably go, oh, House of the Rising Sun, because you know that song based on how I'm playing a chord. Now, when it comes to chord progressions and things, you shouldn't be able to do that. Now, where it becomes a little different is an arpeggio creates a melody out of the chord structure. And that's where you can start to argue, well, is it a melody within a melody? Is it one of the melodies of the song legally? Because an arpeggio could be. Now, us as musicians, we know it's like, that's just a chord structure. That's just a different way of, playing the notes instead of hitting them all together. You're staggering them. But someone that owns it can say, well, the way that they're staggered is an identifying mark of the song that's different than other songs with that same chord progression. And I think that's probably why that particular song got marked where some of the other ones didn't. Now, I didn't watch his source video to know how he was playing the other songs. Because, if he was just strumming the chords regular, not like how they're played in a song, then I could see his point a little bit more. And then especially if he wasn't like having people pay him in chat and it was like an advertisement thing, like a sales funnel, because it seems that a lot of people, the copyright holders, they get a little annoyed when people are making money in different ways and using something else. Yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining it well. Like, since he's using his video to promote his merch courses and other stuff, I could see where someone would get a little annoyed, knowing like, oh, hey, he's just using all these songs and getting paid. Just kind of like me as a teacher, it would be wrong for me to tell my students, hey, I got a new album. Hey, I got some merch. Check out this shirt right here. That would not be cool to do in a classroom. But we're watching a video of a guy doing somewhat mostly similar.
Mommy,
so it gets a little.
I need the $30 for Mr. Walz. What, $30? What for? You going on a field trip? No, his new shirt. Yeah. I need his new shirt.
Yeah, he's got some dope merch. His shirt's fire.
All right, well, okay. That brings me to the second point. Okay, I understand YouTube wants hands off, but you're going to give the publisher / songwriter, whoever is making the claim, the power to be the judge and decide the case? I mean, come on, that's complete horse shit.
But
I'm sorry, pardon my French. That's garbage.
Actually, it's German, by the way, but
it's terrible. I mean, come on, dude. Seriously. How can you have the accuser try you?
Okay, if someone broke into my house, wouldn't it be on me to say, hey, get out of my house? You are on my property. You are trespassing.
But it's not up to you to deliver the sentence.
But they're the people that own the content. They're the people that own the property that he is using. So shouldn't it be on them to tell YouTube, hey, YouTube, let this guy know, since you're hosting his ability to share our stuff that he took. Hey, YouTube. And that's why I'm saying YouTube is stuck in the middle, and
YouTube should either decide, or there should be some sort of government thing that decides.
It's not their property. It's not their property.
But you're not going to get me to agree with you on this one, brother.
Okay,
apologize.
so YouTube owns all the stuff that other people are claiming.
No, but
well,
that's
what I'm saying.
The point
YouTube gets stuck in the middle.
Think about it though. Think about it. if somebody accused you just on the street, you never saw them before, of raping their sister, do you want that person to be the person who decides your fate and tries you and gives you your sentence? I mean, come on.
Okay. So let's say that the person on the street that accused you is like YouTube. What if their sister was standing next to them saying, hey, that's the person right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little different.
Yes.
And that's where YouTube gets stuck in the middle, because someone is right there saying, hey, YouTube, hey, I'm using your system. This person is using our content. Please pass this along so, we can work out this arrangement that we're supposed to have where we get credited, we get paid for people using our content.
Right. But my final point on this message before I move on to the next song is, where does it stop? I mean, like, pretty soon, if you strum G, C, and D, they're going to call it Brown Eyed Girl no matter what. I mean, there's not much more ground for them to take. They've already taken copyright for everything that's ever been done after Mickey Mouse. It'll never be public domain because Mickey Mouse will never be public domain. The Beatles will never be public domain ever. It don't matter when they died because Walt's already dead and they give him forever because they just keep extending it forever and ever and ever, and that's wrong, right? It's completely and totally wrong, and that's what we were texting about. I think Disney is the root cause of all of this because Mickey Mouse, because they won't allow Matthew Campbell to open his own Disneyland in Oregon because the characters are copyrighted, and that's literally what this comes down to. When you look at it, nothing will ever be public domain again, and so these companies are going to be claiming the same shit forever.
Well, if it's their stuff, and I get the idea of public domain, that after a while, in estates keeping things going on and on, like Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, all these people that have estates to keep their, I for lack of a better description, probably keep their families, supported by what they did for years to come, I can see that argument of public domain a little bit more in some of the other stuff. But where does it end? I don't know. It's always tough because I had one of my originals claimed. Mm-hmm. One time I played essentially like an E major chord, but then used my finger to modulate it, so it was like a dominant 7, and then played a minor third. Dun 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 dun. And apparently that's part of an opening of an Ozark Mountain Daredevil song, which I didn't know. My original is released, but then I play an acoustic one, a version of it on a stream, and it got claimed. It's like, it is silly. A big part of it is, and Beato's on a whole different level than like you and I are, where we're getting like robots that recognize the sonic signature as opposed to someone watching your videos and scrutinizing every few seconds. I mean, that's a little different level of scrutiny, but he kind of
said it was
thrives
a
on
manual claim. Somebody saw it and claimed it.
We get automatic claims, so he knows people are watching his videos, and he knows when he's doing stuff that's going to give him more content. I love Beato. He's a brilliant dude, and very entertaining, but he's found his niche with this rant about things, because it gets people going.
Yes, well, in my personal opinion, I know that if we heard some specific guitar intros like Stairway to Heaven or like Stand By Me, you know what the song is since the first moment. Yes, that's automatically, yes, the song. But I think in that case, it was just about teaching purposes. So I think that must be free for everyone. So just imagine, if you take the guitar, mm-hmm. and you start doing this D minor, okay? So if you are teaching or if you are exposing something, you say, okay, students, this is D minor. Again, this is D minor, and this is G. So you are not doing exactly as the tempo of the song. So you are not covering the song, you are not versioning the song, just explaining what the chords are. Mm-hmm. So I think that has nothing to do, because in my opinion, teaching purposes must be free. Even if I say, okay, this is the intro of the Stand By Me song, no? And you start doing the same line, bass line or guitar intro. Yes, you are broken the copyright, but in my opinion, that claim was silly. This is stupid.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, the law is something like you have to copy 7 notes in the melody exactly, or 7 words of the lyric exactly, or something. It's very, very specific.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt, but listen to me. Even if you are doing the 7 notes, the 7 chords, one after the other one, like this, following the tempo, yes, you are covering the song. But if you are doing this, C, then you leave some seconds, and then you do G, and then wait for some seconds, and then you do A, and then leave some seconds, and then you do F. So there are equally the 7 notes, the 7 chords, but they are not on time. So you are not breaking anything.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely some room for debate on how exactly to the original notation. Let's take it all the way to the freaking notes on the paper. How exact is it, right? And if he played it, 99 to 100% exactly the way Jimmy Page played it, then maybe. But if he's just playing A minor, C, G, D with the F sharp, F, if that's all he's doing, that's complete crap. It really depends, in my opinion, on was he playing the melody guitar? What was he, like the way Alip Bata plays the melody in the chords, right? The way Josephine Alexandra was, we just listened to her. The way the melody was clearly there in the entire song. There was never one moment that it was absent. That was a cover. She wasn't just playing the chords, right? But what if she did just the bass line and the backup parts, and she didn't play the melody at all? Bum 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 bum, and that's it. She never plays that bum 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 ba da bum.
No.
Right? Where do you draw the line?
Well, and since you're talking about melody, I mean, you can have, forget the term, like you could have like a bass melody going along with the main melody.
Sure.
And then if you own that, then you can, it depends on how picky you can get. So if we're talking about like 7 notes, based on what you just did, if that's following those 7 notes of that, and you're as the publisher of the music, if you publish the bass line like that, well, then, by virtue of what you just described, that could be a match for that song. And that's why I said, as musicians, if we're strumming chords, we know that there's different ways to rhythmically play a bass line that's close, not so close or whatever, and some of the nuances as a musician versus the nuances of legalese that creates, the distinction between those seem really vast, but for us, it's hard to really grasp like what is legally similar and not, because we know as musicians, we can do stuff. I could probably play a song 10 times. And for people listening, they're like, dude, that was pretty much the same each time. And I know it was radically different each time. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, there's a lot of our experience as musicians. And it's really hard for us to separate that in this topic, I always think.
And the final point that I have is it's just disgusting to me that the accuser gets to decide. Because if it comes down to they make money by making a claim, they have a clear violation of, you know what I'm saying? What's the words I'm looking for? They can't be fair. there needs to be an impartial arbitrator that's not just like deciding, oh, well, screw you, I want the money. I think they should have to have the burden of proof. But the way it's backwards. Now we're guilty until we prove ourselves innocent, and if we try to prove ourselves innocent, there's consequences. We can get strikes that can get us deleted. It's and the accuser is the judge. That's not fair. YouTube doesn't want to be the judge. Okay, then they should have to hire one that's somehow impartial. Somehow, I don't know how that's even possible. Because if they're hired by YouTube, how are you going to determine they're actually impartial and actually going to give a fair? So I think the only fair, and it wouldn't even be fair, would be for an actual like judge in the government to decide. But that's only going to happen if you sue a record company. If you sue a record company, you gotta have money, you gotta have lawyers, you're gonna sue a record company? Are you crazy? People don't have any power. It's all taken from us, and that's what's getting under my skin. That's what I agree with Rick about.
Beato was using a song, right? I mean, he said like, "Hey, in this video, here's a song that's an example of this."
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so they get all the money from the whole video because he played 15 seconds of a song in a 20-minute video? That's ridiculous.
His point of the video is to get people to buy his books and stuff. I mean, that's a little different. He's using it to advertise his own things.
Well, I don't dispute that point. I don't dispute that point at all.
Well, then
he is. Sure, of course he is. If I had a book, I'd be advertising mine too, damn it.
Well, I mean, wouldn't we all like to use Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and stuff to make people want to buy our stuff? I mean, that's great advertising if we didn't have to pay for it.
He is a good teacher, and he is knowledgeable about music.
Extremely.
And he's a fairly likable guy. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad, like, in today's world, you talk about corporate America, and I always remind people, support indie creators like Matthew, like myself, like Alwyn. There are ways you can support us directly where we don't, like doing reactions. People always think, oh, I hope those ads are going to the person that you're reviewing. You probably get that too, Matthew. It's like, yeah, they do. Thanks for knowing how YouTube works. But, on a less silly sounding note, there are ways that us as independent artists, you can, if you're watching this, you can support us directly. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'll stream your stuff on Spotify. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe 1,000 views, I'll get a couple bucks, or 1,000 streams. But we're living in a world where we can make it on our own, just kind of like what we're trying to do right now. Just trying to get an audience, get a fan base, and hopefully, have some independence under our feet, which is cool. It's cool to have that opportunity.
Yep. And I just hope that, there's some semblance of something left for us to write as songwriters, because the more the copyright these companies encroach, the more songs that they get into their belt, the more that they can do these claims. And a lot of these things are done by bots, but some of them are done manually, like Rick Beato's was manual. You get big enough that, like you said, they're watching him. They're totally watching him, because they know, hey, this guy's a cash cow for us. He gets videos with 1 million views every month, okay.
Well, I'm sure. Oh, go ahead, Owen.
Owen.
Yes, because as you said, Kyle. No, you said, Matthew. They are claiming 15 seconds of a 20 minutes video, right? That's what you said. Okay. So just think
Something
about
like
it.
that.
Yeah, okay. More or less. Just imagine if some new songwriter or some people like the people who are writing books now, like a novel, I don't know. If they use 7 words, I not necessarily means to be together, but just 7 words in the same paragraph. And if they compare with the Romeo and Juliet from Shakespeare, and magically appears the same 7 words in the whole book, just you don't claim that 7 words because they are totally different place. I mean, if I'm playing 7 chords in a song for 5 or 6 minutes, maybe Johann Sebastian Bach can claim me because I am using also the same 7 chords that he used to his own music. So that's unfair. Claim for a tiny part of a huge project. I don't think that it's fair. Just a little for too much.
Yeah. One thing I've been trying to do, and it was probably 15 seconds, wasn't long enough. It was probably more like 30 or 40 seconds to actually get a claim. I've been trying to, if I'm actually trying to get through the gates with something, like for example, I did a little preview video for my React that came out today. It was a React to Nightwish 7 Days of the Wolves. I made a little preview video and I put it out on YouTube, and the clip of the song was like, 7 seconds or something, so it wasn't enough to trigger a copyright claim. So, I mean, like, maybe if Rick could, not even play the whole 20 seconds worth. Maybe if he played a shorter clip, I don't know. But either way, I'm fine, like I said, in conclusion, this whole topic, I'm fine with paying copyright claims when I'm doing a cover. I'm fine with paying copyright claims, obviously, if we're reacting to something. Obviously, I want the ad money to go to the artist. I'm trying to support the artist, right? That's the whole goal here. I'm trying to say, hey, here's something that people have suggested to me that I will like, or something that I like, I want to share, or you and Kyle share, right? So that's what it's all about. And so, it's cool like that. So
Yes, sure.
I think there should be a separate judge that arbitrates the situation. I don't think that the accuser should be allowed to determine the fate, because obviously,
But it's their stuff.
but they still shouldn't be allowed to be the judge.
But it's their stuff. I mean, if you came over to my house and took my couch and it was in your house,
They're claiming it's their
I would
stuff,
say,
but they don't even have to prove it.
but Beato said, here's some songs that use these chords, and he's playing those songs.
He's playing the chords from the songs. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's a gray area, and that's why you need to have an arbitrator that's impartial that decides, because it's a gray area.
Yeah.
If it was cut and dry, but this gray area is just gonna, like I'm saying, the frontier of what the corporations can claim is just gonna keep expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding until it's engulfed everything. Right?
Yeah.
That's my conclusion, and that's really my concern, because we've talked about this before and giggled about it. Oh, when they come after you just for playing chords, and here we are. It was just a couple weeks later.
Well, as more music gets online, it's going to be a bigger problem. I was thinking of, I forget who made the video, The Death of Melody and Pop Music, and it has Billie Eilish on the thumbnail. Forget if that's Adam Neely or maybe Beato. But that whole idea that, with the, I guess the depth of music that's available in the way artificial intelligences can analyze all that amount of information, it's going to make sense that maybe melody changes, so then people can do something remotely individual or original. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never thought about melody since we're talking about that.
Everybody that's been here with me today, first thing I want to do is thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Please, let's get lots of people to see this on the restream. Thank you, Veronique, for subscribing just then. Everybody go ahead and subscribe. Right like Veronique, go ahead and mash that subscribe button. Also, you can please check out Kilometro 1, links in the description. Alwan's channel over here. They do great rock music. Alwan plays music and his wife sings, and they're really good. I've been subscribed to them for over a year and enjoying their music. Thank you, Alwan, for being with me. You're always welcome to be here on The Sound. Hashtag The Sound, everybody. And of course, every Monday we have Kyle Walz. Everybody, Kyle's a great singer-songwriter. Check out his album, Blood Candy. You can check him out at kylewalz.com and Kyle Walz on Instagram. That's right. Make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube as well.
Get the hook.
Yeah, with the hook.
Did it with the finger this time.
You guys can find me on Patreon. Kyle was talking about, Rick Beato and his Patreon and all that. Dude, I ain't making that much. How many super chats have you guys seen? There wasn't any.
Right.
I really could appreciate even $1 a month. It'd make a big difference in trying to keep this thing going. Sign up for as well. Kilo Metro One's Patreon, Kyle Walz Patreon. You can support all of us, because it's us little guys, man. We're the future, and all these big guys, man. We can just forget about them.
Yeah,
so make sure
support indie.
Check us all out on Patreon. And if you want music lessons, MatthewsMusicLessonStudio.com. You get to record the lessons and keep them on your device. MatthewsMusicLessonStudio.com. And that's about it. I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you so much, Alwyn. Thank you, Kyle. And I'll see you guys next time on The Sound.
Yeah.
Live.
The sound.